have been discussing about the early Greek philosophy, and it's a paper which is there in our syllabus in Delhi University. This is Dr. Ananya Barua, Associate Professor in the Department of Philosophy. Today's lecture would be on the father of philosophy, and that is Thales, and we would be exploring how or why for Thales water has been the arche. The distinctions between arche and apeiron have been discussed in our last class. We have also discussed the cardinal features or the common features of the early Greek philosophy. We are continuing with the father of philosophy today, Thales. Now, who is Thales? Thales is popularly called as Thales of Miletus. That is so because he was born in Miletus in Ionia, and as such, the early Greek philosophers are also called as the Milesians, coming from the term Miletus or Ionic philosophers. So Thales of Miletus, 624 to 546 BCE, is a pre-Socratic Greek philosopher. He is often considered the first philosopher in Western history. He was also a mathematician and an astronomer. Now, to recap, the arche for Thales is water. What is arche? Arche is a Greek word meaning beginning or origin or first principle. In philosophy, it refers to the primary substance or element from which everything in the universe originates. Now, the question is, why did Thales say that arche is water? What was so spectacular about water? Thales believed that everything comes from water and that water is the essential substance behind all matter. And this also connotes that the early Greek philosophers have been largely materialists. The reasons are, first, water is necessary for life. All living things need water to survive. Thales also observed that life is closely connected to water, be it the flora, the fauna, the living organisms in particular thrive on water. Secondly, water exists in different forms. Water is one element that can exist as a liquid, solid, in the form of ice, and gaseous, vapor form. These changeability or fluidity might have suggested to Thales that water has the potential to become many things, and something that is arche has to have this flexibility, has to have this changeability component in them to make it what it is. Moisture is everywhere. Thales observed that even dry things contain some moisture and that seeds which give rise to life are moist. And moisture is nothing but a version of water. Observation of nature. Further, Thales observed rivers, rain, seas, and the role of water in agriculture and growth, and that might have influenced his belief that water ought to be the arche. Cosmological explanation. Thales believed that the earth floated on water, a cosmological idea where water was not only the source of life but also the foundation of the cosmos. So much so that Thales had come up with a concept or a theory of earthquake, that whenever there are ripples on the water disk, and because the earth floats on water, there is earthquake. Significance of Thales's idea. Thales moved away from mythological explanations of the world and used natural reasoning. His idea marked a shift towards rational and scientific thinking, asking what is everything made up of? instead of what do the gods say. So we see that rightly for Thales, the concept of arche and his assertion that water is the fundamental principle of the cosmos geared a lot of excited audience, thus rightly celebrating him as the father of philosophy. Now, let's start with the background. Thales of Miletus. Thales, as we had just about mentioned, belonged to the 624 to 546 BCE, was a philosopher, mathematician and astronomer from the ancient Greek city of Miletus in Asia Minor. He is often regarded as the first philosopher in Western thought and one of the 7 sages of Greece. His influence is foundational, as he represents the beginning of the transition from mythological explanations of the cosmos to rational, naturalistic thinking. Thales is considered a pre-Socratic philosopher, meaning his work predates the classical period of Greek philosophy and the works of figures like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Now let's discuss the concept of arche in Thales. In Greek philosophy, the term arche means beginning or origin or first principle. For the pre-Socratics, it referred to the fundamental substance or principle from which everything in the universe originates and into which it eventually resolves. The concept of arche is central to early philosophical inquiry because it represents the search for a unifying principle. Unifying because something common and fundamental that explains the diversity of the world. Thales' arche is water, and this claim is pivotal because it marks the first systematic attempt to explain the nature of the universe not through mythological or theological narratives but through a single fundamental substance. Now, the assertion that why water, we see that Thales believed that water is the primary substance of the cosmos. His reasoning can be broken down into several key arguments. Water as the source of life. Thales was deeply influenced by the vital role of water in sustaining life. All known living organisms depend on water for survival, from simple organisms in the sea to complex terrestrial life forms. His assertion that water is the arche reflects the observation that water is essential for the emergence and maintenance of life. It is a universal necessity for biological processes. Water's transformative properties. Now, water can exist in 3 states of matter: liquid, solid, and gas. This flexibility suggests to Thales that water has the inherent potential to transform into a variety of other substances. The fluidity and adaptability of water could have led Thales to believe that water could transform into or give rise to everything in the natural world, making it the arche, the origin of all things. Further, water as the cosmogenic principle. Thales also proposed that the earth itself floats on water. This idea is not just metaphysical but reflects on an early cosmological theory where water is seen as the medium in which the earth and other cosmic bodies exist. The idea that the earth rests on water suggests that the cosmos itself is rooted in water, making it the fundamental substance that sustains the universe. The prevalence of moisture in nature. Thales observed that many aspects of nature, even those that appeared dry or solid, contained some form of moisture. This idea suggests that moisture is an underlying quality of all things. Furthermore, plants, animals, and even the air exhibit signs of moisture, indicating that water is the pervasive principle that underlies all matter, directly or indirectly. Empirical observations. Thales was a keen observer of nature, and much of his philosophy can be understood as an extension of these observations. He likely noticed that rivers, lakes, seas, and rain are central to agriculture, commerce, and the sustenance of life. His assertion that water is the arche reflects a movement towards naturalistic explanations of the world as opposed to the mythical or divine explanations prevalent in early Greek thought. Theoretical implications of Thales's thought. Thales's declaration that water is the fundamental principle of the cosmos was not just a cosmological hypothesis but also a philosophical and metaphysical proposition. By identifying a single substance as the arche, Thales initiated the idea of monism, the belief that the universe is fundamentally composed of one primary substance. This laid the groundwork for later philosophers like Heraclitus, who identified fire as the primary substance, and Anaximenes, who proposed air. Monism and the unity of cosmos. Thales's arche suggests that all phenomena in the universe are variations or manifestations of a single underlying substance. This is in contrast to polytheistic or pluralistic views of reality, which proposed that different gods or forces governed different aspects of nature. By suggesting that water is the single underlying principle, Thales emphasized the unity of the cosmos and the idea that diverse phenomena share a common origin. Rejection of mythology. Thales' thought marks a decisive break from mythological explanations of the world. Ancient Greek myths often invoke gods or divine forces as explanations for natural events. Thales, by contrast, rejected these mythological explanations, instead proposing that the universe is governed by rational principles that can be understood through observation and reason. This marks the birth of scientific thinking. The emergence of natural philosophy. Thales is often credited with the beginning of natural philosophy, the precursor to modern science. His focus on water as the basic substance of the universe was an early form of scientific inquiry into the nature of matter. By posting that water is the arche, Thales set the stage for the development of theories of substance and matter that would evolve throughout classical philosophy and later influence figures like Aristotle and Democritus. Now let's talk about the criticisms and legacy. While Thales's idea of water as the arche was a groundbreaking step in natural philosophy, it was not without its critics. Later thinkers like Anaximander, a student of Thales, would challenge the notion of a single physical substance as the ultimate principle. Anaximander introduced the concept of the apeiron, or the infinite or boundless, arguing that arche is something beyond any specific substance like water. Nevertheless, Thales' influence on Western thought cannot be overstated. His identification of a single rational principle for understanding the cosmos paved the way for future philosophical and scientific inquiry, especially in the fields of metaphysics, cosmology, and natural science. So then Thales and the birth of rational inquiry has been pre-given. For Thales's claim that water is the arche signifies the beginning of philosophical inquiry that seeks to explain the universe through reason and empirical observation rather than myth or theology. While his specific choice of water as the fundamental substance may not have stood the test of time, his method of rational speculation and investigation has had a lasting influence on the development of Western thought. Thales's concept of water as the arche thus holds significance in today's times, albeit not in the exact form that he envisioned. While we no longer view water as the fundamental substance of the cosmos in the literal sense, Thales's pioneering shift to a naturalistic worldview and his emphasis on observation and rational thinking continue to influence modern science, philosophy, and environmental thought. Thus, this is how we see Thales's water as arche resonates with our contemporary issues and ideals. Philosophical and scientific legacy. Birth of scientific thought. Thales is considered one of the first philosophers to move away from mythological explanations of the world. In doing so, he helped set the stage for empirical science. Today, science is deeply rooted in the observation of natural phenomena and the formulation of theories based on evidence. Thales's emphasis on understanding the world through observation and logical reasoning is still foundational to modern scientific inquiry. Example, in modern science, water remains a central subject of study in a wide range of scientific fields, from chemistry, where it plays a vital role in chemical reactions, to biology, as it is crucial to cellular processes and life itself. Water is also a key subject in environmental science, climate change studies, and sustainability areas that are increasingly important today. While we do not believe water is the arche of all things in a metaphysical sense anymore, water remains a profound symbol in both philosophical and scientific contexts. Thales's identification of water as the primary substance of life can be seen as an early attempt to recognize the interconnectedness of all life forms through a fundamental common element. So, water basically is the source of life, and water is essential for all known life forms, and these reality has profound ecological and environmental implications today. Water scarcity is one of the most pressing issues in modern global politics and environmental science. Climate change, over extraction of fresh water, and pollution of water sources all threaten the availability of clean water, which is essential for human survival, agriculture, and biodiversity. Thales's idea of water as the arche can still inspire modern environmental movements and discussions about conserving water and ensuring its equitable distribution. Water in philosophy of ecology. In the philosophy of ecology, thinkers today still explore how fundamental elements like water shape the ecosystems that support life. Thales's approach, which seeks to find an elemental substance that connects all things, parallels our modern ecological thinking about the interdependence of all living beings and their environment. Water as a universal solvent and medium for life is a powerful symbol of this interconnectedness. Interdisciplinary importance, and with NEP being introduced, everything as we understand today is interdisciplinary, and this is where Thales comes with a big bang for water and environmental ethics in interdisciplinary studies is huge. Thales' view that water is the primary principle of life is echoed in contemporary environmental ethics. Philosophers and ethicists argue that because water is so fundamental to life, it demands ethical consideration in how we use and manage it. The value of water is central to discussions of sustainable development, water justice, and access to clean water for vulnerable populations. Example, in today's ethics, we see that the right to water has become a key issue in global human rights law. Countries around the world are grappling with how to ensure water access for all citizens, particularly in regions affected by drought, pollution, or political instability. Water and climate change. Climate change is dramatically affecting water resources, including freshwater supplies, glaciers, and the overall water cycle. Thales' recognition of water as an essential element of life resonates with current concerns about how water availability is being altered by human-induced climate change. For example, melting of glaciers, changing rainfall patterns, and rising sea levels are all water-related phenomena that have far-reaching consequences for ecosystems, agriculture, and human communities. Water in modern physics and cosmology. In modern science, water continues to be a focus of study, particularly in astrophysics and chemistry. Astrobiology, for instance, water remains one of the key substances scientists look for when studying the potential for life on other planets. The search for extraterrestrial life often focuses on whether a planet or moon has liquid water, a key ingredient for life as we know it. Water in modern physics and cosmology. In modern science, water continues to be a focus of study, particularly in astrophysics and chemistry. In the study of organic chemistry, water is often called the universal solvent because it can dissolve many different types of molecules, making it central to biochemical processes, including those that sustain life. In this sense, while Thales did not predict these discoveries, his focus on water as a fundamental and transformative substance can be gauged as a precursor to modern scientific explanation of the material world. Thales' Arche in contemporary thought and the interdisciplinary relevance is thus huge, for we find that Thales' idea of water as the arche remains relevant as a metaphor for thinking about the interconnectedness of life and the universe. It suggests a holistic view of nature that is increasingly important in fields ranging from ecology to philosophy and even complex systems theory, which studies how parts of a system interact to form a whole. In today's world, the holistic perspective is valuable for addressing global issues like climate change, biodiversity loss, and social inequality issues that are deeply interconnected. In our next class, we will be continuing more about Thales' Arche in the 21st century. Thank you so much.